Okay, mini lesson. That's what I'm doing right now. It's when the teacher is teaching you something about writing. And you may not use what I teach you that day in writing, but you'll use it one day in writing. You'll say, oh, I remember that Miss Doty taught me this in writing. So you're going to learn writing tips and ideas. I'm going to tell you how to make your writing better every day. And you're going to listen to the teacher when I'm doing the writing workshop like you are now. You're going to have a quiet mouth and a body. So remember, before I left school a couple weeks ago, I talked about listening bodies. So I want you to think about your body right now. Is your bottom in the seat? Is your feet on the floor, not making any noise? Is your hands not doing anything? Is your hands not doing anything? They're not playing with the animal. They're not in your desk. They're not playing with the pencil. Your hands are listening. Is your eyes listening? Are you looking at Miss Doty, the speaker? Miss Sydney? Hands out of your desk. Your hands are not doing anything and your eyes are looking at the speaker. That's a listening body. Your ears are listening. Your eyes are listening. Your mouth is listening because it's quiet. Your feet aren't kicking or making any noise. Your hands aren't playing with anything. So we learn about writing tips. So you listen to the teacher. We have a quiet body and mouth. And then after I do the lesson, we're going to go into writing time. And this is where you're going to write by yourself. I'll come around and do little mini meetings with you guys and read some of your reading. And we'll talk about some things. But you're going to mostly be doing things by yourself. Learning from what I taught you and making your writing better. So work independently. That means by yourself on writing. Fix up your writing to make it better. And sometimes you'll work with me or other writers. And then sometimes at the end of the workshop, we're going to have a sharing time where you're going to we're going to go over what we learned, or if you're going to get to share your writing with the class. Some of you get to read your stories to the class, or maybe with a partner. But that's sharing. So there's 3 parts to mini lesson, or to a writing workshop. Mini lesson, writing time, and sharing time. Now, we also had you do with Miss Shoemaker is you wrote about your writing ideas. Because a lot of times kids say, Miss Doty, I don't know what to write about. And they just can't think, and their brain is like something turned off their brain, right? And they just don't know what to write. And you have lots of ideas in your brain about what to write. So I'm going to come over here. Make sure I don't drop this. Chase, can I put it on your desk? Okay. Is it bothering you there? Okay. All right. So I'm going to write right here what writers get their ideas. So one place that writers get their ideas is from things that happen to them. Right? Things that happen to you. It could be a sad thing. It could be a happy thing. I hear some friends talking. So sometimes we write about things that happen to us. Maybe a place you went. Maybe a cool present you got. Maybe something sad happened to your family. Miss Doty could write about getting the coronavirus, couldn't I? That could be something that I could write about. So there's things that happen to you all the time, good and bad, and you can always write about them. What's some other things that you can get ideas from? Where else can you get ideas?
You can get like places you went.
Okay, yeah. From places. You can get ideas. You can write about, maybe you went to the mountains. You can write about what you learned about the mountains. Maybe you went to the Dinosaur Valley. You can write about what you learned at Dinosaur Valley.
Your friends.
Okay, you get ideas from friends. Maybe they told you a cool story and it made you think of a story to write about. Lily? Okay, from teachers. We'll put friends or teachers. Maybe your teacher read you a story. Oh, that's another one. We get ideas from stories, don't we? You read a story and you say, I want to kind of write a story like that. You know, maybe you thought about the spoon story and you said, I think I'm going to write a story about, no, not spoon, something else in the house. Your clothes. Maybe your clothes came to life. Okay? All right, where's another way, a place you get ideas? Gracie? Okay, or family. So friends or teachers or family. You can get them from stories or movies or music you heard. You can get ideas from them. What about your imagination? Have you ever made up a story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made up a
Your imagination.
This is the ocean.
Okay, or something maybe that is your favorite. Maybe you want to write about your favorite animal or your favorite food. So these are all ideas. These are all, boys and girls, waterfall, waterfall. Thank you. These are all places we get ideas. And you, while you were with the shoemaker, wrote to me the things that gave you ideas. You told me some things that you love. You told me some things that happened to you that were happy and sad. You told me about things you know a lot about. And you told me about people and animals that are important to you. So I'm going to hand this back to you here in a minute. But first, before I do that, we're going to talk about the tools we use in Writing Workshop. So we have tools. What do you got to use to write? What's the most important thing you got to have to write? A pencil.
And an eraser.
And an eraser, because I know I make a lot of mistakes when I write. I have to erase a lot. You have to erase a lot. So you need a pencil. What else do you need to write?
Eraser.
Gracie. Okay, sometimes things to color with. So markers and crayons, because if you draw a picture, that's right. And colored pencils.
Uh-oh.
What do you write on? Chase?
Paper.
Paper. You gotta have paper to write a story. I mean, you have the stories in your head, but in order for people to read them, you gotta write it on paper with your pencil. So paper, pencils, markers, and crayons. Those are the things we need.
And glue.
There is one more thing that we have in our desks. It's a writing folder.
And scissors.
Your writing folder is purple. So get out your purple writing folder. It's on in your desk. All your folders are behind you. It looks like this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Look at
Chase.
mine.
All right, look at that.
Mama got me this.
Yes, that's the purple one. I would like that off of you. You go put it in your backpack. All right, so on your purple folder, the very front says your name, writing folder. Here's Mrs. Doty's writing folder. Okay? Then if you open on the inside, it says unfinished work. So these are for the stories you're working on. If you're working on a story, it goes here. Okay? And we're going to talk a lot about when you know a story is ready to be done. We don't just write it and say it's done. You have to reread it, right? You have to see if you need to add some things. That's called revising. And you have to edit it and make sure it has capitals, periods, it makes sense. So all those things we're going to learn about. Every day I'm going to teach you about those things. So whenever you finish a story, you're like, there's nothing else I can do. It sounds right. I read it. It's perfect. I don't need to add anything. It's all done. Then it goes in the back. These are ready to edit, meaning they're ready to write the final draft. Ready to edit means it's ready to write, do the final draft. Right before you go through it, you make sure it has capitals and periods, and you get a nice piece of paper and you rewrite the story. Make it nice and easy for people to read.
And not with all these erasers.
So whenever you are done writing a story, it goes here. For Miss Doty to look at it, you write your final draft. If you're working on it, it goes right here. Because writers sometimes take a long time to write a story. Now, you'll also see writing goals. We'll talk about that a little more later, but I've been looking at your writing, and I've been writing down some things I noticed that you might need to work on. Some of you always forget your period. Some of you always forget your capital. Some of you forget to put spaces between words. Some of you need to work on spelling and sounding out. So those are the kind of goals that I'll give you. I say, okay, now we're going to start working on remembering your periods. So everyone will have a different goal. And then after that is our word wall book. Did you have a word wall in kindergarten or first grade? Some say yes, some say no. So, you have a word wall in your folder. I don't have it on the wall. It's just in your folder. So every week we're going to add some words. Like, we're going to add words every week. We're going to add our high frequency words, and then you can use this word wall to help you spell. So if you say, I don't remember how to spell green, I'll go look if it's in my word wall. And look, there's green. So can I spell it right? Yes. And if there's a word you want to learn how to spell and you figure it out, you can put it in your word wall so you don't forget.
Can you put your name?
No, you don't need to put your name because we have it on the folder.
Is it alphabet? Yep, I have easy.
Okay, so let's put these back in our thing. We're gonna talk about the word wall later on. We're gonna add some words to it soon. Not today. Almost. All right, before we go to snack, we're about to go snack, but I'm going to tell you before we go to snack. After snack, you're going to write a personal narrative. Now listen to what a personal narrative is. A personal narrative is a true story about something that happened to you. It's a true story about something that happened to you. The reason I'm going to have you write this story is so that I can learn more about you as a writer. So at the beginning of the school year, we wrote a story about something that happened over the summer, right? And I got to see how you are a writer, but we've been in school for 2 weeks now, almost 3. And you've been practicing your writing, so you should be a little better. You should be able to write a little bit longer of a story. But this can be about anything that happened to you. It doesn't have to be about the summer. Anytime and any in your life, something sad or happy that happened to you. Okay? It can even be scary, yes. So, when we're done with snack, I'm going to give you a piece of paper. And you're going to draw a picture. You're going to write some ideas about your story. This is not your story. This is just a plain piece of paper that you're going to just draw or write your ideas on. This is our planning paper to help you think about your story, right? You could even say this is what happens at the beginning, this is what happens in the middle, this happens at the end, or you can just draw a picture, you can write some words that help you. And when you're ready, when you're done planning, you're going to raise your hand, and I'm going to bring you a book. And here's our book. Our book has a drawing, 2 places to draw pictures, actually 3 if you get to the 3rd page. So you can draw a picture or write first, whichever you want. If it helps you to draw a picture first, draw a picture and then write about it. And then you're going to write your story about something that happened to you. Now I'm not going to help you spell. I'm not going to help you do anything. This is what I want to see what you can do. And then starting tomorrow, I'll start helping you with your stories and we'll start learning. But today I just want to see how you can do on a narrative. This is called a personal narrative. That's what we're going to be learning to do is how to write a personal narrative. But I just want to see what you can do without any help. And we're going to have most of the rest of the day to do this after snack.
Okay.